Hello there everyone, this is I am Mark 3 and welcome back to FTD ToBA. That one boaty adventure. Yes, it's, well, since things are starting to get back on track a bit, I figured, there's a series that we can't really neglect, a game we can't ignore. And that is, of course, From the Depths. And the most stable From the Depths one, especially in video form on my channel in recent times, is FTD ToBA. So FTD ToBA is the one where I'm going to start coming back with, and the first of my new FTD content for this week. And as you can see, for a suitably bombastic beginning, if that's appropriate phrasing, I'm not entirely sure. For a suitable start, though, I just pause the game in the middle of a massive salvo from the primary cannon, heading out in the general direction of many, many nasty things in that general direction. I've also told the AI to take me over that way as well, so as soon as I unpause it, it's going to go wander off, so let's do that. Yep, as you can see, the ToBA Tower is quite happily wandering off. Admittedly, I've not done as much tweaking as I mentioned at the end of last time, but what I have done is I have connected the forward laser AMS array on the sides here. So that's now actually fully connected and powered by the AMS core at the back. I had to reroute some transceivers, but I got there in the end. And I've also added munition detectors to the two side sponsons, which houses much of my detection gear. So I don't have sideways munition detections, but I have got some, so that should let the lasers at least kick in. And I also have an upgrade plan for today, which I know, it's like, oh god, he's got an upgrade plan, what's he gonna do? How he's gonna break things, and what's he gonna forget this time? Well, I'm just gonna let the craft keep on shooting, because I need to put a new control chair in here somewhere. And that's because my upgrade plan requires me to gut out my existing control room and the original AI. Oh dear. I think that might be a slight design flaw there. Might need to look at the turrets a little bit, because I suspect... I don't think that was incoming shells, so I think one of my subguns just blew off one of the other ones. I mean, a massive chain reaction. Ouch. But yeah, I need to put in a new control seat somewhere. So, let's go ahead and do that. Let's, for the moment, put a control seat in my ammo chamber. That seems fair, right? And for that, I require a complex controller, of course. And I also need my handy-dandy complex controller ACB set, which I'll also quite happily just plug in into the side here. So this is very much unfinished, but I now have my new control room buried deep in the depths of the castle on the tower. So I can't believe I blew up my own subgun. I shouldn't be surprised though. Let's be honest, this is me we're talking about. Of course I'm going to blow up my own darn subguns. Ugh. Right, let's see. Take off that and that. I'm going to ditch the capture turret which I was working on, so that can go. Let's be honest, this entire framework, it was like a start of an upgrade plan ages back, and then I've just not done anything with it really. So it doesn't really do much of anything. Let's be honest. I'm not even sure what I'm shooting at, let's be fair, but hey, I'm happy to keep on shooting at it. That is quite alright, though as the range is closed, there is a slight risk of that subgun getting it in the back as well. So another friendly fire incident. Let's actually check this. They're trying to track towards my target. Oh, incoming particle cannon strike. Oh my. That seems slightly dangerous. Right, so I'm currently engaging with my guns a churl, Right, there's a Telemachus nearby. Okay, let's re-angle this direction. And the one that is taking pot shots is a Gyrosphase. Gyrosphase? Something particly, which means I can't block it. All I can do is try to shell it out of existence. As soon as the churl has apparently been suitably blown to smithereens. Which seems to be taking a while, actually. I get the feeling that maybe I should... The subgun volleys are great against bigger targets, but unfortunately I should probably speed up my AI tracking so I have more accurate information about where it's trying to go at a given moment. Let's turn my HUD back on. Oh. The churl is 2 damaged and is dying. Okay, that's fine. It's not quite dead yet, but so it's going to eat a whole bunch more fire, but that's quite alright. Let it keep on doing that. Now then. I think my theme for this particular part, like I mentioned I've got a bit of an upgrade plan. I'm going to install a jet engine. I mean, I know that's like mega ultra shocking and all that. It's like, wait a second, doesn't he already have jet engines in there somewhere? Well, yes, I do. What's this one set to? Hydrofoil blocks to... Oh, that's one of my original hydrofoil controls. Get rid of that. Yeah, but I'm not talking about jets. I mean, I've got jets already for steering assist and stuff like that. Oh, you're a lightning hood crafter, are you? Okay, sure. And it's, of course, it's nighttime to make it harder to see because reasons. Though that said, actually that craft seems to be struggling just a tiny bit. And it also seems to be dead just a tiny bit as well. Right. So anyway, lighting fires. I'm going to build in not a regular jet. No, I'm going to make a custom jet. This craft is going to have a custom jet installed as a means of enhanced propulsion. Which I'm thinking is like, let's open up the nose armoring slightly. And then this goes through here. Back and back. I'm going to have to empty out various parts. I'm going to have to get rid of this stuff. Here's the AI core I mentioned I'd have to plow through. This is the one on channel 1. I don't even remember what this thing controls anymore. I'm not even sure it does control anything. Because I'm pretty sure I've routed all my other weaponry through different things. Here's a slight problem. I've found the linking connection for the side-mounted defensive lasers. So I'm going to have to route it underneath that, so that's one. I'm going to have to build it through the floor here, aren't I? Yes, I am. Indeed I am. And this, of course, is one of the problems with modifying a pre-existing craft. There's a lot of space that you need to work out. Like, for the fact that... What's mounted under here? Nothing. Well, there's nothing in the centre line, at least. I'm probably going to have to increase my lift depth slightly as well to account for this new engine. Because, well, is it going to work underwater? Good question. Also... I seem to have found the rear section of the forward blade. Whoops. I'm finding things. I'm discovering new things in this craft. Huzzah. That's the centre line. That needs to be clear. 1, 2, 3, 1. So it needs to be as low as this part here. So I need to actually take off the rear mounting of the forward blade and rearrange that as well for this upgrade. Oh dear. And yes, my craft is just quite happily wandering around and shooting things in the background as I work. Because reasons. And this is probably boring to watch, so I'm going to skip that. That's it, end of episode. Go away. Yeah. No, actually it's not. Also, I was about to get rid of that. Yeah, but I will skip ahead because I've got to dig a massive trench out of this craft for the mounting section, and Oh, look, we've got the navigation AI here, and we've got the Heartstone. Fun times. Let's just quickly move that. And here's the original set of boxes, which I replaced. Oh, wait, that was the shield controls set. This is the... Oh my, does that mean my shield's no longer auto-switch? I'm doing a good job of this, aren't I? Flippin' heck. There's also a few old engines and things back here as well. I told you I'd be tearing a few bits and pieces out. Well, I don't think we can really do this without appreciating exactly how much I've just dug into the core of my craft. So let's go ahead and have a look-see. We start off with this big hole here, which you saw me start. I've torn out the rear mount of the lower blade. It's now holding by a single section, which I'm not too happy about. But then if we go into here, and the damage is beginning to reveal itself. I mean, look at this. I've torn through an RTG bank here. I've torn into some magazines. I've rebuilt the Heartstone. This old electric engine is pretty much scuppered. The navigation AI is just tucked up there for some reason. Through the middle of a resource storage area, through what used to be a bank of RTGs. So I'm not sure how my power supply is holding. Answer, it's not, because I think I've torn out like 4 big RTGs at least doing that. Through the bottom of the silo, which used to house my particle cannon. Through the primary electric engine, which I had to relocate and adjust to fit around the new shape. So that had to be fixed. Through the bottom of my stairwell, so the stairs no longer go anywhere at the bottom. And then out the back of the craft in a really big hole. Why are we going backwards? Oh, right, my AI isn't set to ignore backwards. Hang on, where's that nav AI that I just exposed? Very horribly. There's my nav AI that I exposed very horribly. Disable reverse, please. You can't do backwards, you're not built for it. There we go. Right. So that's what this is going to be. Also, a word of warning, it's going to stick out the back as well, so the plan is to build it for a longer shaped hole than I've currently got. So, you know, that's going to be useful. But we can at least begin. I just need to decide where to put the front of it. So, air system. Custom jets. I want the intake, which will have to be mounted here. No, wait, is that the right place? Then I need to find the laser to check. No, one lower. So it's going to sit right here where the previous floor used to be. So I do need to adjust the hydrofoil system a little bit. Is that horribly exposed? Not especially. I mean, this isn't the part that will cripple it. It's just very important. So that's where the front of the jet's going to be. And from here, it's going to stretch the entire way. So that's going to be fun. I just need these things. I double-checked with my previous... my old jet testing rig. I checked with it. So I know that I require 8 intakes to 12 compressors. Sorry. Or was it the other way? Darn it, I've forgotten. I need to double-check this thing. Oh. This is going great, isn't it? Okay, here we go. Welcome to the Vehicle Designer for a split second here. I made sure I saved my progress before I dropped out of there. Now, my testing rigs. Jet and Power Testing Rig version 2. As far as I know, this is all still up to date, so that's fine. And this is where I last pondered custom jets on this thing. Right, I think this thing has not been seen in over a year or something like that. It was last seen for the dirt fin. Right, so this is the stand for custom jets all the way to this end, which I worked out. For optimum power, we want 12 to 8 C to I. So compressors, 12 compressors to 8 intakes. Totally good. 12 compressors to 8 intakes. Alright, so this is what it's starting to look like. We've got the core of our little booster system installed. It is really long and spindly, as you can see, but it runs the entire length of the ship. I've also made the forward hydrofoils a bit more aggressive, so they are keeping the nose of the craft a little bit higher up. And this is the length I've gone for. Because of the ratios involved, this is a 200 and 4 meter length jet engine. So 200, so we've got the exact ratios involved, plus a controller, plus a combustion, plus a jet exhaust, and plus an extra intake on the front, since that helps. And it gives a total of 820,000 horsepower in terms of its jet output. So let's check this, shall we? I'm just going to slap a fuel tank so it'll actually operate. Then I'll also tell it to respond to that. Oh, we just lost a subgun, I think. And it's struggling to keep it out of... Oh, that just hit over 40. It's not keeping the altitude up high enough, but when this thing is operating, it's kicking me to about 40 or 50, which is, remember, this is a boat. A boat that's trying to do 50. Admittedly, it burns fuel like hell, but, you know, that was always going to be happening. So I'm going to just turn that back off. Right, I think there's potential for this booster. Though, of course, this is going to be in the same kind of vein as when I put a big booster into the derp fin. It's like, it's going to be running off fuel reserves, and we'll have onboard refining to take care of all that. Let's see, let's set this to a more aggressive angle as well, so 20... to make sure the back of the craft is being forced up out of the water by these fins as much as possible. And then of course it flattens out. It only really digs in for the front of it, but there we go. That'll help. Still, yeah, initial test results are promising. All that's left now is to add on all the extra bits, because this is not it by a long shot. No, no, it's going to get stronger than this. Let's see how we do. The compressor banks have now been added, and that means our 800,000 horsepower engine is now a 1.63 million horsepower engine. Yep, so that's pretty much doubled its output. All it needs now is the extra intakes. Okay, let's go ahead and add those in as well. I think this is going to be fun. A bit of sad news, I'm afraid. I kind of forgot that in systems like this there is a maximum number of blocks, and I think I went over it just a teensy bit. The result is I've actually lopped out a 20 meter section, so this, rather than a 200 meter one, this is now a 184 meter thing. Hello, crashing aircraft. So yes, this is a 180 meter long thing now. But in other news, I have installed all of the intakes, and I also made sure to maintain balance, so I adjusted for the lost length. And the result is this custom jet now fires with a power output of 6.3 million horsepower. This thing is gonna go bonkers, let's put it that way, which means I should probably install the automatic shut-off at this point. Let's do that. Right, okay, you guys set your custom input to T. And you set your custom input to G, right? So G within range of 5. You will have a propulsion component set drive factor to 0. And you, within a range of, once again, 5, will have propulsion component set drive factor to full. So there we go. Now I have a toggle which will allow me to adjust the drive factor, and so allow me to, at a flick of a switch, tell this jet to fire or not. The problem is, of course, while it's receiving input, it's going to burn, even if it's running or not. So I'm going to have to put it with my ship's rear end being on fire the entire time. Oh well, right. Resources. Fuel. Fuel storage tank. Time to see how this thing flies this time. With a bit more for the test run this time, because, you know, just in case. Oh, we're about to hit a red zone. Actually, that's ideal. We do need to progress. So you know what? Sure, let's go on through. We're actually going to start progressing. I forgot to mention that as well. We've got about 50k resources in stock, almost. So that should be good, right? So let us actually jump through the red wormhole gate thingy if we can, because, you know, we've been sitting here for so long, we might as well try and go somewhere. Come on, you can do this. There we go. We have progressed. Fear me. And I don't need the waypoints anymore, actually, so just switch it to on. And I'll turn on cruise control, so we're moving. Because we do need to do this performance test, just to make sure that our fires are burning brightly in the appropriate manner. Also, geez, I need to add more lights to these things. I learned that from the submarine adventure. I need to put lighting on these things a bit better. Anyway. Right. Make sure I'm latched on. And press the button. The shiny, shiny button. I'm a boat! Apparently I need PID stabilization to do this, to correct my thrust, but I'm a boat. Turn that off. Oh, that's already burned through 24,000 fuel. Flippin' heck. The tower took flight. Okay, so if I want this thing to operate on full boost, I actually need to have jet stabilizers installed at the front, just to keep the nose down. Either that or make this forward hydrofoil way more aggressive. Jeez. Oh yeah, turn it off as well. Through the miracle of science, we've got a flying battleship. Completely unintentionally, but, you know, it works. Right, let's see. I need the nose to dig in pretty hard to try and counter that, because it's... Yeah, it only goes to -10 right now. Let's up the angle to 20 to make it really try to bite. Reset the fuel canisters, because, you know, we need to make sure that this thing works properly. The excitement of making a really powerful boat. I should also mention, by the way, I replaced the RTG systems that I tore out. So there's actually now 6 big, shiny new RTGs in the middle of the ship. Let's just find them. Being in the storm is really not helping. Ah, yeah, here they are. So yeah, there's a bank of 6 RTGs in the middle of the ship. Okay, let's see. The only problem is that the nose is going to try to attack the water rather more significantly now. So, if I press T... Not enough, but this boat still does a maximum of 150. So, this boat is now very, very powerful. The only problem is the weight distribution of it, which is what's causing the entire effect of it going skywards whenever I try to do this. Let's see. Yeah, that'll fit there. There. And of course we need a PID to react to the stabilization. So another control system, we need the PID controls to try and keep this thing on an even keel. Oops, not 2, 1. You are set to pitch with a lot of gumption, so okay. Almost. What's happening now is the engine is actually choking itself in the water. Because the jets can't quite compensate, but they are keeping the craft down, which is why it's doing a thing. It's trying. Now I just need to force the nose down further. No, that's not quite it. The tower's doing its wheelie. I don't know how many jets I require. I think that's part of the problem. Oh, we've burned our fuel out again. Okay. This thing really loves to burn its fuel out, jeez. So unlike the dirt fin, this thing is not going to allow it. It's going to allow some quick movement, but it's going to cause problems. It is operating, right? Yep, it is. Almost. I think part of the problem is that the rear stabilizers are now practically not quite at the back of the ship anymore, so that's causing a few issues. But all right, so in its current state, we need a massive bank of downward thrusters at the front just to try and keep the craft from cartwheeling off into the sky. But yeah, this is not quite balanced yet. The craft does need a little bit of reshaping. It also looks like it's catching fire rather severely. It's not built for this. The drag is just making it try to take off whenever I fire this engine up, but that's okay. That is quite okay. Such is the peril of progress. And I would say we've made some progress here today. Because we've made the ToBA tower fly. We can fly. Also, I'm gonna just outright sever these wooden sections off. I mean, jeez. I don't even need them anymore, really. Just get rid of these. We'll get our aerodynamics back for the most part. There we go. And the entire lot just fell away. That's lost us quite a bit of drag that was on the front. Unfortunately, that also means our forward systems have kind of gone in the drink as well, because that's where they were attached. But yeah, right now the craft is a bit too unstable using that booster to really work too well. So let's go ahead and press that, turn it off, let the craft settle again. But if we need to get somewhere, like really urgently, I think this craft has been slightly updated, slightly better, slightly faster. It can now set itself on fire like never before. Speaking of, there's something hostile over there, but there is also a red ring of doom and destruction over that way as well. So let's turn this way, kick in the booster, whee, and take to the skies, or try to. Yeah, the rear stabilizing hydrofoils really do need to be located back behind the engine just to keep it steady. There's not much point in having this emergency well, it's not an emergency booster. It's like a traveling. It's a cruise engine. It's a cruise drive. It's like, my big battleship wants to go somewhere. Hey, let's turn on this jet and off we go. Away! Away into the sky. But yeah, it's not... The craft is not balanced yet for it. And that's okay. Oh, was that a laser? That was a laser. Good thing we're heading for the exit then, I suppose. Yeah, an aircraft over there is shooting at me with a laser. Makes me kind of wish my shields were actually working. They're not. On the bright side though, whatever that is getting shelled out of existence very, very insistently. Turn us point the right way and hit the booster drive. Whee! Just rear up in the... It's like, I don't want to be here. Play hot rod. Lift up and go. Come on, you're almost there. Yeah, okay. I've got impressive speed out of this craft now. In return for massive fuel drain. There we go. All stop. Because we need a little bit of redesign of the supporting infrastructure of the ship is required to get back control. But still though, a battleship in the water with a maximum speed of 134 clocked at the moment, since the last changes done to it. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Of course it burns through fuel like no one ever does, but you know. The price of progress. This has been Iron Mark 3. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. And I'll catch you all some other time. Yes, indeed. See you all later.